Welcome back to another video. Today I'm explaining the flying Raijin technique that was of course created by Tobirama Senju, then later upgraded by Minato Namikaze, and we see Boruto using an imitation of it, just not to the same level or proficiency to the GOAT, Minato, of course. Anyway, we know flying Raijin has 3 stages to it. There may have been other stages that I don't know about, but most stages we see that they can do. Of course, it is flying Raijin stage 1, which is you just go to the Markunai and yada yada yada. Right? The second stage is you rather mark the individual where you can get him whenever or whatever are on the battlefield. The mark does not disappear. It didn't even disappear after he died, which is crazy to think about. Of course, the second stage of second technical stage of flying Raijin is where he just is always on the move, so he is able to use flying Raijin while the kunai is in the air and not planted to any spot directly on the battlefield, making Minato and or Tobirama incredibly dangerous. As well as there is no limit to how many targets they can mark. There is no limit, and of course it's weird just to have that mark just to be on it for you for the rest of your life. Imagine taking a shower and be like, man, yo, the 4th Hokage died and I still got it. Anyway, it is a space-time ninjutsu and can traverse practically any kind of distance. You could be in the other side of the world and flying Raijin can still pop up. Of course, users can choose to teleport to a different location than the objects, or they can teleport objects without teleporting themselves. Of course, we see that when Minato has to deflect a tailed beast bomb by the 10 tails and the 9 tails in the war arc, and when the 9 tails attack happens by Obito. Anyway, flying Raijin is a Junjutsu, and that anyone marked with this technique is essentially sentenced to death. Yeah, you're cooked, I ain't gonna lie. Anyway, these are special kunais developed by Minato, and I don't think Tobirama uses kunai. I know he does the marks, but I'm not really sure about the kunais. Anyway, with his extensive usage of the flying Raijin, of course, Minato was crowned the Black Flash, and he is the only person in the Naruto world without a Sharingan that was able to decipher Obito's technique and hit him. Only person. Conan doesn't count because Conan just threw a bunch of paper bombs and be like, yeah, I'm gonna get you. I got one of these, gotta hit you. Anyway, the imitation of the ninjutsu for Boruto is in order to more precisely control his inherent Otsutsuki teleportation ability. It produces nearly identical results, but you know, it is different on the base level of it, even though it is called flying Raijin, and the cops are outside my house. Did I do anything? No. Will you see the news about me? Absolutely not. And originally, before Tobirama's second revival, the flying Raijin God technique was said to be Minato's original technique, but as we know, it was retconned to anything because we just gave the love to Tobirama for creating mostly all the banned ninjutsus. Now, there are more users of the flying Raijin. Of course, Hokage's personal guard can use the flying Raijin, but I think only 3. I think they have to use it as a group. So it's an incredibly difficult technique to learn. Even though we have been foreshadowed that Naruto could potentially learn the jutsu, as he's been holding his father's flying Raijin in movies and on different kinds of the shows. Or he had to make a move with a kunai from his father. So it's been foreshadowed that Naruto could potentially learn the technique, but of course Naruto does not have that kind of skillful intellect to even learn that technique. It would have been fun to see him have his father's technique. Would have been fun, but no. Right now. Anyway, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. They should have given him that technique though after he lost Kurama. Probably would have equaled the playing field.